Hey everyone, it's Robert from On My Turntable. Hope you're having a great New Year's Day. It's a little darker now. It's about almost 4:30 in the afternoon. I wanted to continue my albums to discover series through Discog Shuffle. If you recall, I'm going to talk about this amazing soundtrack, Jesus Christ Superstar. I also have the original Broadway version as well. And yeah, amazing stuff. Amazing stuff. Um, so we'll talk about the brown one here, Jesus Christ Superstar. I'm not sure if this is an original pressing or not. It doesn't have anything in the inner sleeve, and I think there should have been something there. I'm not 100% sure. It's on the MCA label. Um, but I don't know if you can see or not. Mr. Ian Gillan. That, in my books, is number one for sure. Now, the soundtrack, or the original motion picture soundtrack, featured Mr. Ted Neely, who does an amazing job as well. There it is there. Ted Neely, Carl Anderson, Yvonne Elliman, who was in the Broadway version as well. Barry Dennen. Yeah, this one has many more photos. And it's on the black MCA label. Amazing stuff. Amazing stuff. The Brown album I'm going to refer it to. 1970 rock opera by none other than Andrew Lloyd Webber and Tim Rice. Started out as a rock album before it actually became a Broadway hit on stage, debuting in 1971. It's really rocky. It's rocked up. It's funked up. Funked. And it's got soul. It's an awesome soundtrack. It's basically the version of the story of Christ in his last couple of weeks before his crucifixion, and the betrayal and the hurt and everything else he felt during that time. It also depicts some of the struggles between Judas and Jesus. Judas being the one that basically gave him up, that weren't really depicted in the Bible. So it brought a modern version to a classic story, and a rock version to a classic story. One of the greatest stories ever told, basically. This brown cover is a US version of the album. The UK version, which I'll show in just a second here, is more of a starburst, almost like a sun-looking type of album, very bright yellow, with the different font for the Jesus Christ Superstar as well. Big singles off it, of course, Superstar, and I Don't Know How to Love Him, sung by Mary Magdalene, played by Yvonne Elliman, who is an amazing vocalist. And of course, as I said earlier, Ian Gillan as Jesus Christ. Ian Gillan, of course, the lead singer for Deep Purple. Gillan, Black Sabbath, you name it. Yvonne Elliman as Mary Magdalene as well in the Broadway version. It hit gold through the UK and US, UK, and Canada. It was a second attempt by Andrew Lloyd Webber and Tim Rice to do a rock opera. Their first attempt was Joseph and the Amazing Dreamcoat. Again, the songs are all versions of basically the last 7 days of Jesus. The opera also shows allows people to see Jesus as a as almost human, or a human being, and the trials he went through, and the struggles he went through, and the hurt he felt, and the betrayal that he felt. A lot of critics didn't like that, but it also portrayed him as the perfect being that he is. But it also shows the struggles of the so-called villains of the story, Pontius Pilate, Judas Priest, how they had to make those extreme decisions as well. Understanding it now more than I did when I was younger. Obviously, this came out in the 70s. I have a better understanding of it now. And not to bring any religion into this channel or whatever, but it just shows how the Bible can provide incredible stories of people who experience world-changing events. It's also funny how it relates today with the struggles we're going through. During struggles with conflict, as we've seen, especially in the States and throughout the world. I'm pretty fortunate here in Canada. We don't have that many conflicts amongst groups or peoples. But how do we approach and deal with each other? And this is what the Bible asked you. How do you approach that? Especially when we don't understand what they're trying to achieve with their, especially if they're a little different, a little weird, a little out there. Do we write them off and say crucify them, as they did in the Bible, as they did to Jesus, because they didn't understand him? Or do we stand by their side and see the world through their eyes? That's a big question that I think these two rock operas ask and try to explain. Something I didn't think about way back when, but something that's relevant today for sure. And these songs are so amazing. They're so wonderful. I was listening to a lot of them today. They're just remarkable. And stand up. They stand up the test of time. The film version, as I said, original motion picture soundtrack. It's directed by Norman Jewison and released in 1973. Again, Ted Neely as Jesus, Carl Anderson as Judas, sorry, and Yvonne Elliman as Mary Magdalene. They were all nominated for Global Awards for their portrayals of Jesus, Judas, and Mary Magdalene, respectively. The film itself grossed $24 million. I think a budget of $3 million back in '73. And in '73, it was the highest grossing movie soundtrack in U.S. and Canada. So it was just amazing. I mean, but again, it was critically acclaimed, but it was also banned by some of the critics. The religious leaders didn't understand it, didn't like it. I think it'd be more acceptable nowadays with how society is. But I think it's, especially these times that are so, that we don't understand, that that everyone's in despair and everyone's alone. We need stuff like this to bring us out. Again, I'm not preaching religion. I'm not preaching that you have to believe, but we need something. And listening to these two soundtracks today gave me a little bit of hope. So if anything, that's all I ask for. So that's it. That's my look at amazing soundtracks. and blessed to have them for sure. So let's see what else the Discog Shuffle has in store for the next one. So I'll go to my list. Again, it's a clear list. Nothing showing. And we'll hit the shuffle button. I don't know if you can see that or not. Random item down here. Sorry for the glare. Oh, Minute by Minute, the Doobie Brothers. Awesome. Another version of the Doobie Brothers. Not necessarily my favorite version of them, but respectfully a great album in its own right. Anyway, enjoy the rest of the New Year's Day. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. And I may be doing this tomorrow, I'm not sure. But take care, and we'll talk to you again soon. Bye now.